Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Nordic Championship, where Finland and Iceland are duking it out on the Summoner's Rift to see which is the better team. And for now, it looks like Riptide is struggling quite a bit.
They were struggling quite a bit in game number one. Of course, we are having two of the lesser known sort of countries in the Nordic region right here when it comes to the League of Legends scene. If we're not counting like Greenland and the Faroe Islands or whatever, I'd
Are
probably
we counting those?
I don't think we are actually. I think we are counting Iceland and Finland as two of the lesser known countries in the Nordic region when it comes to the league scene, but we are finding out more and more as we're going in. And speaking of going in, the pick and ban just started.
So let's go to Champion Select and see what will happen this game, as we know that some of these players definitely stood out more than the others.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Selfway was the big playmaker and the big MVP for Nyyrikki in game number one on that Thresh. I really want to see him on a playmaking support. I don't think it has to be the Thresh. It could even go towards something like an Alistar or a Gragas, or even a Pyke would be very exciting when the Thresh is banned away.
Yeah, it's not going to be the Thresh, and also, like, Thresh, one of his big strengths, except for the death sentence, the hook, is of course the lantern. And he was so annoying just keeping Azure just away from everything. So Lucian is going to be off the table together with Urgot as well. And of course, as you mentioned, no Thresh either. And yet again, Silas has been taken away.
Yeah, I don't want to be playing up against that. One of the big champions that we saw banned away in game number one, but is still open so far, is the Yorick. Was the first ban in game one. Interested to see if that's something that Riptide could be first picking here. If they want to go into a sort of a carry versus carry matchup in the top lane, and if so, what Stenbusse would choose to play up against that. Or do they want to ban away the Yorick here as the last ban and then give up something like the Lissandra for Riptide?
It would be really good, I think, for Riptide to get Alessandra here, and I wouldn't be too surprised to see Nyyrikki White leave that one. But as I said, yeah, Alessandra is going to be taken off the table as well. So Riptide now might be going for the Auric.
Yeah, Lee Sin is another champion that was banned in game number one that I would love to see one of these junglers on, being able to make so many plays happen early on, and there's really a highly contested jungler. Also, Cyan is another just very solid pick at the moment, especially with Urgot and Sylas getting banned away, but it's going to be the support priority for Alistar.
Interesting to see Bad Habit pick up Alistar, as he was caught out quite a bit. He gave away first blood in game one, and Alistar isn't that strong pre-level 3, and Selfway is the big playmaker on Nyyrikki White, getting all of those kills for his team. I think he had the highest kill participation in game 1. So I'm not too sure about the Alistar first pick here, and the response is the Ezreal, meaning that we should probably see a Relic Shield support picked up by Selfway.
Well, I was thinking about the Yorick if it's something that Nyyrikki could pick up right here. Jax being hovered is very interesting because it's sort of a counterpick to the Yorick that we've been seeing. So if Jax would be the pick here for Nyyrikki, that would sort of make Riptide a little less inclined to go for that Yorick. But as it stands, it is still open. Do Nipla want to go for that sort of big split pushing carry? That is the big question that I want to see an answer to right now.
Also looks like Stenbosse is going to go for Jace again. Stenbosse being the only Swedish player on the otherwise Finnish team. And I think he did well on his Jace up top lane for game 1. I'm excited to see him play it again. Riptide now going with Sejuani, another champion that was banned last game.
Yeah, gonna be having sort of the more defensive jungler compared to the Xin Zhao that we saw in game number one. Also important to have a lot of melee champions when you're taking that Sejuani. So with Alistar in the support position, I would like to see a melee top laner as well together with that. Could be rough up against the Jace though, as that it can be so punishing in towards the top side. But another thing that synergizes great with a lot of CC is going to be that Kai'Sa that will be hyper-scaling, but Nyyrikki have not picked any tanks yet, and Kai'Sa's real strength in the game is being able to kill tanks.
Also, like these champion picks, they scale so well, but not really giving any lane priority anywhere. Not having the big jungle pressure, not having any real pressure down bot lane again. And I am so worried about Selfway actually in the end deciding to go for the Braum, so not a huge kill pressure, but still a bit scary with Braum together with Ezreal if he lands that Frostbite.
Would have loved to see the Blitzcrank coming out right here. Not the greatest laning to the Alistar, but still. Anyway, going to be looking towards the sort of more of a pokey team comp so far for Nyyrikki, with the Jason Ezreal being able to lay down so much poke. And I said it in the first pick and ban, I love Zoe with this sort of poke comp. So seeing Jammer run a more mechanically intensive champion like this Zoe would be great to see here in this game. And then they would just need something defensive in the jungle as well. On the other hand, for Riptide, we're seeing very good scaling, very strong front line later on with Alistar and the Sejuani, but you need more early pressure. Together with this, you need winning lanes, you need lanes that can be able to have lane priority to rotate to help out Tartalus early on.
Turtle's a little bit worried about the Lee Sin. The Jax you talked about earlier also could be something we could see. Xin Zhao, of course, is still open, although Tartalus did not play him very well. Appeal might be able to do it better, and Yorick is now off. It's not going to be a Yorick in the top lane versus Stenboss's Jace.
I think it's interesting that they're banning out both the Sion and the Yorick. When you've got the Jace already, you could see Stemmosa handling the Sion matchup really well early on, and Yorick is also a matchup that you can hold down early, even if it's a very strong champion in the top lane, of course. This leads me to believe that they could be thinking about flexing this Jace to another lane, perhaps to the mid lane, depending on what gets picked here. So I'd expect a jungler here, and then being able to have that sort of flex pick with a Jace until the last round, getting the counter pick for both mid and top lane potentially. So just a standard jungler, maybe something like an Olaf to put down more pressure early on here.
Yeah, we'll see in a few seconds as Nyyrikki White now could be going for either jungler or mid lane, and we'll probably leave the mid lane
Ooh,
pick
Jungle
for
Karthus!
Jamero to the last, but Jungle Karthus is the one they can go for, and this is actually great versus Sejuani. I mean, it's not that Sejuani can invade very aggressively, especially not with this bot lane.
Yeah, for sure. This is a good matchup for the Karthus. Sejuani won't be able to to punish Karthus early on, and he can just power farm, get level 6, and then you know what's going to be going down. Also, together with all of this poke, I love Karthus together with the poking champions, because if some Ezreal and Jace poke lands, then a Karthus ulti can secure a kill on towards a squishy target, and that is going to be a solo lane karma, either in the mid or top lane. That is definitely a flex pick going down so far for Riptide.
We'll find out in 7 seconds, but I like to see this karma. I think this is starting to shape up to look like the kind of defensive composition that you want to have around your Kai'Sa. And I wanted to mention that Hoyce on this team, I think, was the player that, well, kind of handled last game the best. Although he got caught out by a few good hooks a couple of times, he still did fairly well on his Ezreal. He had fairly good timing on his tier. He did what he could do in the situation they were in, being that far behind. So trying to put everything in the hands of a hyper carry, I don't know, it might work out.
Yeah, could be a lot of the eggs in that Hoy's basket here for the Kai'Sa. Should have quite a free lane early on into Ezreal Braum. Shouldn't take too much pressure early on. Should be able to keep up on CS. Also quite interested to see Yamaru and Stambosa who's going to be taking which champion right now into these matchups. They have until 20 seconds left, so about 10 more seconds, and then we can tell for sure where Victor and Jace is going to be going.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not sure, but I think Stambosa wants to have the Jace, even though he's playing versus the Karma, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, the matchup should be a little bit annoying for Jace, as Karma can just shove him.
Yeah, I think the big thing when you're trying to assign these solo lanes is just looking, okay, who can build a faster QSS, Jace or Victor? And Jace can definitely build that really quickly, while Victor really needs to get up his Hex Core upgrades early on to be able to shove out those waves. So, and that QSS is, of course, so important early on into the Malzahar. A lot of gank pressure, actually, with the Malzahar together with the Sejuani for the setup right there. You can even get an Alistar in Rome in as well. So I think Riptide, I do kind of like their draft. I think they've been picking up a lot of tools for themselves that they can use when it comes to making these sort of plays happen early on.
Also noting that they have been banning Cassiopeia twice now, and that is something that, of course, Jamaru could definitely be really, really good at, but it's also something that can also build quite a Quicksilver Sash without losing out too much in that process. So maybe this Malzahar is something that they kind of wanted to do last game, they kind of been saving up to, and this could be the secret pocket pick for Addy, perhaps.
Could absolutely be that. looking a bit more at their team comp, they got so much CC to set up this Kai'Sa, and then Karma that's going to be perhaps even building an Ardent to really boost the damage of Hoist here on this Kai'Sa. Of course, that's an AD carry that really likes to shred through the enemy tanks, enemy frontline, and there isn't really a frontline on Nyyrikki.
No, exactly. So that is the big problem here for a Kai'Sa. Also, Kai'Sa has also been affected a little bit by these item changes. She used to go for the going into Rage Blade and into the Storm Racer earlier, but now I think people prefer to go for the Infinity Edge instead.
Yeah, you can actually go BF Sword and 2 pickaxes, building into an Infinity Edge eventually, because those items will give you the Evolve on the Q, and that's going to be so important for controlling the waves early on, being able to push that out, as well as getting the early trades down. So I would suspect that's what we're going to be seeing. But I think the big matchup that we should be watching early on is in the jungle. I think in all of the other lanes, the matchup should be quite even, it should be quite farm heavy, but in the jungle, Canopy on this Karthus, I think that's who we should keep our eyes on.
Absolutely. Karthus having the big outplay R button. It can be so annoying as his global ultimate can turn fights around in just mere seconds. And I think we're going to see quite a lot of fighting, because in game 1, Nyyrikki White, they played it fairly safe. I have a feeling they won't be playing as safe anymore.
They definitely have a lot of gank pressure, I'd say especially in the mid lane after level 6, when you've got that Malzahar ultimate, the Nether Grasp, to be able to combo with the Sejuani and Alistar. That could be a very sad Jace. So that's where I'd like to see the pressure going after level 6.
I'm also happy to see Jamiru on the Jace now, although, like, I was expecting to see Stinbosa play it again, but I'm very happy to see Jamiru go for a more mechanically intense champion instead of the control mage that Orianna is.
Yeah, absolutely. Amaru has been hyped up as one of these really strong mechanical players, and would have loved to see him on something like a Yasuo or a Zoe, but still can't get it all, so happy to see him on the Jace as well. This is going to be the invade from Canopil actually, and Tartalus is quite low on this Sejuani. Will he take the 2 versus 2 fight? Mid prio is for Yaman, so he'll be able to roam quicker on this Jace.
Tartalus is forced away from his own jungle by Canopil. Using the smite to just make sure that he stays healthy, and this is a big problem now for Tartalus, and as I think Canopil is moving towards this. Can he do this, actually? I think this might be safe, though, for Tartalus.
I think so as well, yeah. And Karthus, importantly, in that early trade, was able to get a Dark Harvest stack. That's going to be so important. Are you queuing over this wall,
Yeah,
Tartalus?
he is.
Oh, this could be a bit risky. He's going to go for the red buff for Canopil. Does he realize what is going on? I don't think he is.
I think he will realize in a second when he sees that there is no one on this blue buff. And he realizes, okay, so maybe he thinks that Tartalus has recall. This was actually a 200 IQ move by Tartalus. I think Canopil expected him to simply just have backed off. And now maybe, oh, this is dangerous though. Canopil up top lane. He's going to face Tartalus again. Tartalus queuing away for his life.
Yeah, now he realizes what's going on. He did get a refresh on the blue buff though, Canopy there, which he's very happy with on the Karthus. You really want that Q spam and being able to turn on your E as well in the jungle.
E forward, a dangerous move to try to go for. Azitor backing off now and turning it around with the Ignite. Heal has been used. It looks like Bad Habit is going to survive this game, not giving away first blood 2 times in a row.
Yeah, important to see the summoner spell choice there for Hoist. Did go with the TP last game, of course, on the Ezreal, but now has the heal, so saves his support right there. Not sure if that was a great or a questionable play from Azitor, as he arcane shifted forward on the Ezreal just to proc the W, and then was forced to flash away, but also baited in Bad Habit and forced the heal away from the enemy side. Still, no flash on this Ezreal. Could mean pressure in the bottom lane after level 6, especially if you get a Malzahar roam right there, being able to get Nether Grasp as well as the Glacial Prison. There is so much strong CC in that Sejuani Malzahar duo.
As Addy, though, has been pushed in quite heavily under his turret, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to roam anytime soon. No real damage on this turret, though, so Jamiru not getting too much from all of this pressure in mid lane, although Addy now will be forced to use his teleport to get back in the lane with no mana and no HP.
So these are two really ultimate heavy team comps. I mean, I talked about the Malzahar and the Sejuani when it comes to those ultis being the playmakers, but on the other side, we have the Requiem, of course, for Kenapil on the Karthus. So these teams are kind of waiting for level 6s. You can see that it's quite a calm game so far. The only thing that's really happened is that the Azitar has been forced to flash in the bottom side. So they are waiting for that level 6. Both of the teams are. They're going to be getting so much pressure once you unlock those ultimates.
Kenapil trying yet again to steal away those Raptors. Turtles has been spotted down bot lane. So Kenapil knows that this is a free camp. Just gaining this extra EXP, looking for level 6, getting all of this extra gold, the extra EXP means that Kenapil should yet again have the priority between these two junglers. But it's a little bit of damage in mid lane as well, but Addy just got level 6.
Yeah, not sure what kind of a... Oh, there Esitor actually comes back to lane. I was going to say, I'm not sure what kind of a buy he's looking for because he was staying around in the lane for a very long time when he had around 1700 gold. And instead of getting a Sheen, he actually chooses to go for the tier as well as a Call. So that is an interesting choice. He's going to really be going for that sort of scaling up and stacking the Call by farming. Not what I was expecting. I think that the bottom lane of Nyyrikki showed some very aggressive tendencies in the game earlier on, but here we can see that it's going to be the more defensive item choice for Azitor with the flash and TP now on cooldown. I don't think Nyyrikki wants to make any sort of a play on towards the bottom side of the map.
No, definitely not. They seem to be as content farming. Speaking of farming, they have such a huge gold lead actually right now, simply from the CSing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've got more than 1k without any kills going down, and I believe that's... No, there's not even a single tower plate that's been going down this game, so this is purely CS. Especially we can see quite a big lead in the jungle, as well as both in the mid and AD carry positions.
I have to say that this speaks lengths about the play style of Nyyrikki Whites. They are playing this very slowly, even though they won game 1 quite heavily. They going in heavily favorited into this game, and they're still playing like we're kind of like a little bit behind. We're kind of the underdogs in this situation, and I think it's actually, I have a good feeling about them for the rest of this tournament, playing like this, playing slowly and safely, not giving anything up, and still just getting that extra gold lead. It's a really good thing to be able to do as a team. You're just looking at the teamwork.
Absolutely, and we talked a lot about the ultimates. They are now available for pretty much everyone in this game. It's going to be a lot of pressure for Kenapil going down. Not able to get any Dark Harvest stack, still only has the first one from that early jewel, but he's going to be chasing further down in the enemy jungle onto Tartarus. He's not going to be dead from a Requiem, but that's pretty damn close.
That's really close, and also in the end, even though he didn't die, he still can't do that much. He has to recall away from his jungle. The camps on the bot side has just spawned, and the blue buff is about to spawn on the top side. So where will Tartarus go with this? Either way he goes will mean a little bit of a weird jungle path for now.
Yeah, you can see that Kenapil is not like he's just going into the enemy jungle out of the blue. He's been forcing Tartarus to recall, and he's got pressure in both the top and the mid lane, especially in the top lane. Stimbos is doing such a great job at pushing this wave in. And Jace versus Malzahar, you're expecting the Jace to have the pressure. So good job from Kenapil being able to secure that blue buff. Will hurt the Malzahar quite a bit in this mid lane, as he won't have all that mana that he... I mean, if Malzahar has a lot of mana, he can just shove out the wave over and over without really using any skill whatsoever. Just let that damage over time take across all those minions. But without the blue buff, without a lost chapter, he's going to be sort of starved for mana.
Yeah, so much lane pressure for Riptide to handle. And Tartarus is the one suffering the most for it. He can't really go anywhere, and just looking at Kenapil, he knows this is happening. He's going in, he's taking any camp he wants to, getting the level 6, and now top lane the Requiem, although I think the Niffler is actually just barely going to survive it.
Wow, that was really close. Then was the flashing forward, Niffler flashing away even faster. Still, this is a Victor. He's supposed to be a late game scaling champion, and he's forcing, like he's tower diving the Karma this early on together with a Requiem. This doesn't spell great things for Riptide.
No, absolutely, especially not since, I mean, Riptide, they're trying to like play slowly, and they're not dying. but they're still losing out in EXP. They're losing out in gold from the CS lead. And now top lane, 2 turret platings have fallen as well.
And then there's big for Stimbo, so that's the big lead for Nyyrikki right now. Also got to mention that Yamaru recalled and picked up the Quicksilver Sash after picking up that first lethality item, this Rated Dirk. So right now on this Jace, the timing window for the Tartarus Adi easy gank setup has closed. I talked about that after level 6 and before Yamaru gets his QSS. That's going to be an opportunity for a lot of pressure with the Sejuani Malzahar, but that window is now closed.
Another arcane shift moving ahead, and again Azir tries to proc his Essence Flux, and this time he sacrificed his life. The flash wasn't enough. Bad habit. He knows that this is a bad habit of Azir, and he's just capitalizing on it. This is a very important kill for Riptide. Probably a very moralizing kill as well.
Yeah, I think some smart person once said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, and that's kind of what happened right there. Well, I'm just gonna arcane shift forward to proc my W. Oh wait, there's an Alistar and a Kai'Sa standing next to me. And I mean, he's even going for the very hard scaling build. He's been building this Mana Mune before even picking up a Sheen and got the Cull as well. He's just such a defensive item build. He should be like hugging his tower, being so careful early on, but he's instead arcane shifting forward into the Alistar. Not an impressive play for Azir, who had a good game 1, but right now he's not impressing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hoist, I think, as I mentioned earlier, I think he was kind of the only player on Riptide that didn't fall behind that much in game 1, although there was so much global gold in the hands of Nyyrikki White. So if he can get ahead in kills, and with this team composition, this could absolutely be what Riptide is looking for. This could be what the Doctor ordered.
Absolutely, with the Karma as well, and all of the CC setup, also all the peel for this Kai'Sa, that's a good thing for him.
Oh, who gets it? Oh, that's a huge steal! The ultimate comes in. It's going to be a kill in the end for Nyyrikki White. That is a huge steal. Riptide now sacrifices player after player, trying to flash away in this situation, turning it around into a 3 versus 1. Here comes Kenopil, chasing this one down, forcing the flash by Addy, and Addy can survive this, even though he did well to juke most of the skill shots. That was a very dead mid laner, and now 1 versus 1. Who wins? Kai'Sa or Ezreal? It's close, but I think that is definitely going to be the another kill for Hoist down bot lane, the solo kill in this situation where Azir did not have his flash, did not respect the damage from the Kai'Sa. Now up 2 kills.
Yeah, Hoist didn't even have to use the heal right there. Azir, he needs to really shape up in this dual lane. This is just what Riptide needed, as they really lost out quite heavily in towards the top side of the map. Looked pretty funny where Stimbosa just goes to the Rift Herald pit, puts a ward over the wall and sees, oh, there's Tartarus and Rift Herald 1500 HP, uses his entire burst combo on the Herald, gets Requiem down as well, and that is pretty much a 1 fight at this point. With the way the champions scale right here, the early Requiem, DJs coming in as well at this point in the game, means that Nyyrikki will win these sort of 3v3s, 4v4s on the top side of the map, but they are playing on a bit of a timer because this Kai'Sa is getting fed.
Absolutely, although I want to say that Selfway down bot lane, he was the one that picked up the Rift Herald. They have 15 seconds now to get a few more platings off. It doesn't look like he is going to use it, so the plating goal will be unavailable now. Rift Herald still, though, very important to get that first tower blood.
Yeah, for sure. They want to knock out on the mid lane here because Malzahar has so good wave clear at this point when he's got enough mana. Oh, and Tartarus gets caught out.
Yeah, Tartarus was way out of position in that situation. Such good ward coverage from Nyyrikki White. This is something we didn't really talk about in game 1, but, I mean, they had vision everywhere, and game 2 doesn't look that much different.
Yeah, not only do they have very good vision for themselves, they're also denying the vision from Riptide really well. You can't see many Riptide wards in the river, so they don't really know where Kenopil is going. Not that it really matters when you've got the Requiem, but still a good thing for Nyyrikki, and shows that they definitely know what they're doing. When it comes to the items that we're looking at right here, I do have to question the item choice for Hoist. I mentioned the possibility to build DF Sword into double pickaxe and going into a crit build, because that would allow you to evolve your Q. Right now, no evolve on any ability with a Blade of the Ruin King build. With the Rage Blade, yes, that's going to be a lot of damage, a lot of on-hit effects, being able to proc multiple times. But Sang, please tell me how many tanks are on the lineup
Exactly,
of Nyyrikki.
like
How
that
many
is something you want to build versus tanks.
Exactly, how many people are you going to be shredding through with that Blade of the Ruin King with proccing your passive more times with the Rage Blade? Not that many.
I kind of wanted to say that Yamaru is going to build the Black Cleaver, but actually he's not going to build Black Cleaver at all. There's no HP even on anyone, really. So yeah, I agree. Not too sure about this item choice. I wanted to see the Infinity Edge, the extra attack speed together with that Winslo's Rage Blade, but not going to happen.
Herald is going to be going down in the mid lane though. Malzahar is still alive. With that passive shield, it's going to be pretty hard for him to dive.
Turning it around now. Suppression though, is it enough? Will mean one kill in the end for Azitur, but Azitur also goes down, giving that away to Tartalus. Very well needed for him, but the Rift Herald is still up, top lane, still being pressured. This could be another Tartalus. Tartalus cannot really defend this on his own. Rift Herald coming in, taking a big chunk on that turret. And Alistar and Sejuani are not really the champions you want to try to defend versus this, but in the end, turret still standing. Important goal, though, going into the global
Dive,
bank.
top lane coming in. This is the dive squad.
Yeah, this is the dive. The first Q hits, that's the second one, and the Airy is going to just make sure to pick that one up before the turret goes down. Hoist managed to get the bot lane turret. They get some damage off of this Ocean Dragon, but oh, how they wanted this to be an Infernal.
Yeah, absolutely. And at this point, when you're 5,000 gold behind, that Ocean Dragon's not going to do too much against all of the poke that's going to be coming down from the Jace and the Ezreal. Tartalus will be looking for some sort of a play here. We know Azitur has not been playing with the most care in the world on this Ezreal.
He has no vision.
Doesn't have any vision, and he's been using his E in risky
He's
ways
moving
before.
dangerously close to this bush.
This could be it.
No, actually, no, it's not. No, in the end, it looks like Tartalus decided that it wasn't worth it. It's going to simply back off. I was sure that we were going to see Tartalus coming out of that bush, but we didn't. So that didn't happen, and we're still talking about it.
We are definitely still talking about something that did not happen. What is happening, though, is that they're knocking on the bottom tier tower. Of course, the plates have been going away, but with Ezreal being able to use the W on the tower, that's really balanced, by the way, you're going to be able to get this tower pretty quickly. Yeah,
the turret goes down very fast versus Ezreal these days. Together also with the Sheen procs as well that he can do. Iceborne Gauntlet, of course, being the item of choice. A big fight down bot lane, and the Nether Grass is going to finish off Selfway quickly. Selfway, although has done an amazing job this game as well. He's on 0-1-6 at this point, and the turret almost died. And oh, that was a little bit of a dangerous arcane barrage. Didn't hit anything, though. I think he might have been able to see Tartalus not get hit by that ultimate. Not quite sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Stimblesa?
Oh, Stimblesa is absolutely dead. Oh, no, he's not! The flash! The misplay by Nipla didn't really happen, and now Hoist tries to move forward. Stan Bus is showing off some great mechanical skills here.
Canacle just wants to ulti. The Requiem is going down.
Oh, Requiem, outplay button, although it's not going to be enough yet again. Although Addy was the final sacrifice in that situation. And now it's Bad Habit going to survive this as well. Yes, he is with the ultimate. That is the Hoist shutdown as Bad Habit makes sure that his ADC gets good and fed. 4-0 for Hoist right now. Is he going to become that dangerous Kai'Sa that we have learned to love? Or is he going to fall flat versus this combined force of Nyyrikki, White, the Finnish Dream Team? They're not that far behind anymore, but Riptide now only 3.5k gold behind at this point.
Yeah, this is a comeback for Riptide. Not what I was expecting to say a few minutes ago, but hell, if I were the coach of Nyyrikki, I would just walk up to the players, give them a good slap, like not too hard of a slap, but still a bit of a slap, because they are playing really sloppy right now, and then you deserve a slap, because like they're just pushing up at different points on the map, trying to solo fight, and because they are so far ahead, they're kind of able to pull it off, but they're still, this is just what I'm talking about, just as I am saying it. They're playing with a lot of risk, not with enough respect for what the enemy team is able to do and taking fights on their own, which, yeah, they're kind of able to do because they're so far ahead, but they are going to get punished for it as Riptide is closing the gap here.
Absolutely, I was complimenting them so much for being such a patient team, and I am not sure what happened, but this does not look like the same team we saw like 10 minutes ago. All of a sudden, they just put in the higher gear and they try to just force things solo, not really respecting the enemy and the fact that they're actually playing this composition that can scale completely out of control.
So what are they trying to pull off here? It looks like it's going to be the 4-1 with Jamaru on this Jace up and towards the side lane. I do think that is a good decision because into this sort of protect the hyper carry comp with the Karma going towards the Ardent Sensor, I believe here as the second item, you really gain a lot from splitting up the enemy team, forcing them to not stay together as this big death ball protecting the Kai'Sa. And with some quick feet being able to rotate on the map, this is going to be the tier 2 in the bottom side going down. And from this point, I think they can definitely start to set up around the Baron, bait it. They don't have the strongest Baron taking team, they don't have a Mountain Dragon, but if they're able to bait around the Baron, I think that would be a good choice.
Absolutely. Also Infernal spawning in 30 seconds. Baron is up. And look at the vision control. Nyyrikki White have a lot of vision around the Baron. That was why they kind of had to sacrifice Canopy's flash. Earlier is moving around trying to find vision, trying to just deny some of those plants, but not quite sure if it was worth it in the end though. They have a bit of vision. They use though their control ward instead on the dragon. Going to sacrifice the Baron vision. They know exactly where Riptide are anyway. Riptide is not going to allow this dragon to go uncontested.
This could be a big 5 versus 5 team fight, and if you're not able to gap close on towards the Kai'Sa, if Hoysier is going to be able to just DPS from the backline, this could be a winning fight for Riptide. With the current build, with the extra pickaxe that he's been able to pick up, he does have the evolve on both the E and the Q, both the supercharge and the Cadian Rain. So Hoy is definitely able to put out a lot of damage right now, and there is an insane amount of burst with Victor, with Karthus, with a Jace EQ on top of that, but those are going to be some hard spells to land on towards the Kai'Sa in the backline, with an Alistar Sejuani to feed for him, and the Karma Shields as well.
Absolutely. Also, both Q and E now have been evolved.
Yep.
I'm sure with the Pickaxe, Quinzos, and Blade of the Ruined King. So Hoyce has spiked heavily now. Look at Niffler, he's moving towards mid lane, trying to avoid Stambles. They're going for a big fight here in the mid lane, forcing the flash, follow up immediately, but Hoyt's not managing to get over that wall to chase down Jamaru. Trying to turn it around a little bit. Arcane Barrage is going to hit. Just a little bit of HP chunk there on Addy.
You can see the 1-3-1 that Nyyrikki is trying to execute here. This is just what I was talking about earlier. Versus this sort of Death Ball hyper carry comp, you really want to drag the pieces of the Death Ball apart, force them to spread out, not allow this Ardent Sensor Karma to go and shield this Kai'Sa, not allow Addy on this Malzahar to peel for the Kai'Sa. And with the Victor and the Jace into the side lanes, I think this is the correct choice. They do need to be very careful with the vision that they provide in the enemy jungle though, because if they get caught out in towards the side lane, there are many ways for Riptide to be able to capitalize on that with a Glacial Prison, with a Flash Ultimate from Addy, with Bad Habit on this Alistar, with a Flash available.
Especially now with AC and Selfway having no Flash. Same for Canopilius for a little bit longer. I think he's 1 minute away or something like that from having his Flash again. This could be the timing window for Riptide to pick it up, and oh, a cheeky steal! The red buff goes into the hands of the Victor. And that was an unintentional pun, actually.
I didn't get the pun.
Like, he's a Victor, Victory was
very
steal
funny.
The red buff. It was unintentional, so I'm unintentionally funny, I guess.
Just like I am unintentionally say something smart sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. That's...
You know the monkeys with the typewriters, Shakespeare kind of thing?
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah, like that. No, actually,
That's us.
You say a lot of smart stuff, I think.
Fake it till you make it.
Exactly. Now, okay, down bot lane, Stambles is still pushing. In mid lane, Azitor is going to be... Is he going to be caught again? That is my big question.
I definitely think there's a possibility of that. We do have to highlight one of the most important items getting completed right now. Look at that Karma's inventory, that beautiful thing in between the Lunatic and the Mercury threads that is called Ardent Sensor, and that is pretty dang good if you are playing this sort of a comp with the Kai'Sa as your hyper carry. So you really want to be forcing these 5 versus 5 team fights when you're grouped up with the Karma shields, with all the peel for the Kai'Sa. But Nyyrikki does not, of course, want to let that happen, so they got the split push going on. The key right now is for Riptide to find an engage somewhere, either on the 3 people standing mid lane or being able to rotate quickly towards the side and catch someone out. They've been very close to pulling this off multiple times, but they've never been able to quite catch Nyyrikki out of position.
The big problem right now for Riptide to make this work is that they're playing versus a 1-3-1 composition. Where is that Karma going to go with this Ardent Sensor? Is she going to try to stop the push in the sidelines and not having any use for her Arcane Sensor at all? Or is she going to try to stay and team fight while Stenbuster or Jameru are simply just pushing down turrets?
That is a question that Riptide will need to answer. I think they should actually go together as 4 or 5 people and then try to just walk in between the lanes and clear these waves out. Do have to question the item choice for Tartarus right here. He's going towards what looks like a Spirit Visage. I think when you are playing this sort of a hyper carry comp, Knight's Vow is a very important item, and Sejuani is such a great champion to build that on since you are innately tanky. Getting in that, hopefully he's building a Knight's Vow with this Kindle Gem. That's what I'm really looking forward to seeing for Tartarus, because you really need to keep this Kai'Sa alive in the team fights, and you need to use every item, every possibility in the game to make that happen.
Absolutely. You put all your eggs in one basket, and now you really need to make that omelette. Infernal Dragon about to spawn in 15 seconds now, as our observer has pointed out kindly. And I think, oh, Nifla might be caught out of position here. A little bit of a bad situation. The Mystic Shot not going to hit anything but air. The extra slow there could have been a forced flash there by Nifla, but Nifla being low on HP means this could be another fairly easy.
Ooh, they want to fight this.
They want to fight this badly. Stenbuster is out of position. It's going to be a smite fight. No, it's not going to be a great ultimate. It's going to set this up. About to smite fight this Dragon. Dragon goes down in the end. It's Icardi that picks it up with the smite. Turning it around now on the Alistar. A good Quicksilver Sash is going to save Stenbuster out of this situation. Turning it around. Hoist died way too early in that fight. And Nifla, the sole survivor, not having anything to use this Ardent Sensor on anymore, is going to have to run away with his tail between his legs, as this is a free Baron now from Nyyrikki White.
Absolutely, and the skill shots were just on point in that fight. You were not able to see it on the camera, but with the magic of replays, I saw what happened to Hoist. That he had the flash available, but got hit by a max range Jace EQ into a true shot barrage from the Ezreal. Both those skill shots like hitting him at the same time, so he was down to maybe 20% HP, and then Jamu just flashed on him with this Jace. Really strong mechanical play from this mid laner, being able to take down Hoist, and that's why I think he needed Knight's Vow.
Yeah, absolutely. Hoist needs that, but also having his ultimate up, having his flash available, still being hit by all of that, and for the rest of his team, is to leave him like that. Turtle is jumping over the wall to try to take the Infernal Dragon. Kind of means that there's nothing, this big wall that needs to be in front of Hoist isn't there. So you have Addy that sacrifices his life, you have Bad Habit that tries to somehow just survive for those few seconds, his ultimate lasts, and then can't really do anything more. They need to be more coordinated for this to work.
Yeah, for sure, and I mean, the big chance they had of getting back into the game was trying to take a good team fight 5 versus 5 where they can't protect the Kai'Sa. Dragon and Baron are like the premier opportunities where you can take those sort of 5v5 fights. Both of those are now off the map. I think that was the big opportunity for Riptide to come back at this moment when you're playing against the 1-3-1 comp with your hyper carry comp, and the enemy team has the Baron. That is such a rough position. They were not really able to deal with the split push in a great way earlier on, and now it just became like 10 times harder with the enemy team picking up the Baron buff. They need some sort of hard engage somewhere.
Absolutely, and also with all of this magic damage on the team of Riptide, handling a Baron buff is so difficult. Another attempt to try to force something down the bottom lane. moving forward in this, but Hoist is out of position. Now moving forward, and with a great heal, managed to survive for a few seconds, but the Requiem is going to finish the job no matter what they do. You cannot stop Cartus from ulting. You can't even kill him. And that is the final ace with the triple kill to Stenbusse. Inhibitors going down everywhere. And the 2-0 is a fact. Nyyrikki White looking like the stronger team between Finland and Iceland in this first match. But we'll see more of Iceland. For now, congratulations to Finland.
I definitely respect Riptide to going for that last fight. That's what you had to do, force a 5v5 in some sort of position, but the skill shot did not quite land, and Hoist on this Kai'Sa was caught out by a lot of Ezreal damage and then just ulted into a full Victor rotation, which meant that you're going down. Still, they went down fighting.
Absolutely, they went down fighting. That is what we want to see. And the Hoist some kind of tactic, I did like it for most part. But we talked a lot about the item choice, and we talked a lot about like the strategy of how they're going to be able to make it work if one of them jumps in. Your jungler, your main front line jumps in to try to fight a dragon that isn't even at half HP. You don't really have much of a choice. You need to fight, and still, they sort of just stalled it out, and Stenbusse was able to join them again.
Yeah, that dragon fight was really the opportunity where they could come back into this game. The goal was not that uneven. They had a shot at coming back if they could keep the Kai'Sa alive, but everything just went wrong. Turtles jumped into the dragon pit, got bursted down. Hoist got hit by all the skill shots on his Kai'Sa. Did not have a locket, did not have a Night's Vow to keep him alive. In the end, Riptide, I think they made a good showing. I think they definitely got themselves some new fans here, being like the unknown team from the unknown region, but not quite at the level of Nyyrikki.
Absolutely. Nyyrikki White, though, showing up, making Finland look really good. Looking forward to more games from that team. But for now, we're going to a quick break, and then we'll be back with some Danish versus Norwegian action. Do not miss out on that.